Here we go, here we go, here we go. Just trying to organize all these hand grippers. I've got a pretty absurd amount of them, and I don't really know the best way to make that happen. Along the way here, we'll shut a couple of them. We've had a couple member requests, subscriber requests for certain videos about the gripper collection because what we have is actually pretty extensive. And the more I thought about it, the more I figured out, I don't actually know how to organize this in a concise manner where it's going to make sense. So part of me was thinking about I could do it by brand, and I guess that's an okay way to do it. And at the same time, it's like strength makes the most sense. So we'll see. We'll try some. Ta-da, here we go. We got a new challenge out there too. So for every new subscriber, they get to choose which gripper we shut live on the credit card. Of course, that's why we're trying to figure out all this other nasty action too. So let me get the chalk handy in case anybody takes us up on that. If nobody takes us up on that, hey, that's okay too. It's certainly not required. But this is what we'll use. We'll use this. This is the Iron Mind credit card. I'm going to grab one of my easy grippers and I'm going to demo what it looks like. So this is a hand gripper. I think we all know it. Actually, the lighting's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm actually kind of liking this. But the way it counts tonight, the way we do it, you put that gripper in your hand wherever you want, but it doesn't count. It doesn't count unless you pass it through. See how the credit card has to go through there? Boom! Then you close it. So this doesn't count, that doesn't count, it's got to go all the way through. Then you show it's closed. So, I'm going to set out it'll feel like pallet after pallet of grippers. It's not quite that bad. I don't know if it's pallet worthy, but as I was doing this, I started realizing I must have well, and again, I'm not even saying this is a good thing, over 150, well over 150. I don't think there's actually 200. I don't know. Maybe it is. So I think what I will attempt to do first, oh God, why don't I put my hardest ones down there and I'm going to try working them back. Unless somebody else has a different idea, I'm not really sure. I'm just not sure how else to start it. We'll warm up this hand. Now we're going to warm up the left one in case we need to shut some grippers for people. It's just getting warmed up now. Torrance, hello. Brother, I'm really good. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking a peek at this stuff. Like I said, all new people, all new subs get to choose which gripper we shut tonight. Do you know much about hand grippers? Maybe you do. Hopefully you do. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the really difficult ones and lay them on that end of the table. And the way we decide what's difficult, most of our grippers, not all of our hand grippers, most of our hand grippers have been rated. So this one is a 126. That just means it takes 126 pounds of pressure to touch these handles together. And the one that we demoed a moment ago, right, this little guy, this guy's kind of a joke. It's an Iron Mind. Come on now. Don't be shy. Yep, there it is, the G, the guide. And here's what counts as a close. A lot of people, when they do hand grippers, and it's okay, they go like this, they wrap it in, and they're like, hey, look, Mom, I can shut it. Well, yes and no. The way they judge it officially, they say, all right, here's your hand gripper. If you have a small hand, you can use the other hand to get it set in there, okay? But before it counts as a close, you have to push a credit card. This is actually the same size. Dun, 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 dun. It's the same size as a credit card you might carry in your pocket yourself. So, although I wouldn't recommend doing this with your own credit card. That's a cool noise. You certainly could. So again, that's the G. This G is an absolute easy gripper. We're testing and kind of looking at, those are pretty cool. Oh, holy crap, you know what they are? Hey, Torrance knows what they are. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you know what this is? So there's two things we have here tonight. This is a hand gripper. It tests his hand strength, right? boom, boom. This is a super easy one. Then we've got this device tests hand strength in a different way. We're going to open it up a little bit. So it's got a swivel. The swivel that I'm spinning is taking these handles on the far end, which I'm going to show you in a second, and then putting them wider and wider. I'll just do some really easy pulls on this, but this is another way to test hand strength. So you see that? We'll zero it out. Now, as I put my hand on here and I get it into position to squeeze, you see the numbers jump. I'm not really squeezing it yet, but there's not a concise way to make it stay zeroed while you try to get it in your hand. So here's just an easy one, a demo. So I've got it in here, right? Let's squeeze. Let's see what happens to the numbers. Boom, 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 boom. So in that example, and I hope you guys can read this, right? The light went off. It was 126.9 pounds of strength. Hey, I appreciate the likes that my left hand exerted. Why don't I throw a little chalk on? We're going to try it in the right hand. Here's a spoiler alert. My right hand has a way better grip. I compete in grip contests, and in almost every measurable, almost every measurable category, my right is better. So we'll zero it out. Expect the same thing though. We're going to take that handle. See the chalk in the hand? That's going to prevent either a hand gripper from slipping or this handle. It's got knurling on it, but it's very light. I'm going to use this left hand to push the device into my hand. Really push it in there. I'm going to wrap these fingers around, and I'm not doing 100% pull. This will be like 50%, but then you squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. So that time, and I should say, somehow this thing knows, within 2-3 seconds, it measures the peak contraction, then it shows that number. So until I zero it out, it'll say, hey, Jeff, I'm Jeff from St. Paul, Minnesota. Hey, nice to meet you. We compete in grip contests. I squeezed with 125.3 pounds of pressure in the right hand. That's not bad, but here's what I can't wrap my head around. Here, I'll tell you what, I'll do it again. I'll squeeze a little harder, and I'll put a bigger number up, because with a bigger number, it's actually going to illustrate my point even better, I think. So again, why don't I re-chalk just a little bit? To chalk, put your hand nice and flat. You don't have to go crazy with it. Just get a little chalk on the surface. If you got too much, it wipes off well. You clap it off as well. It's not the big LeBron thing, doesn't he throw it up? So we're going to zero it out. We'll do a little harder pull. We'll be more than 128, I guarantee that. So I'm going to push this in there. Let's squeeze it. Boom, 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 boom. So we squeezed a little harder. And that's actually, this is a useful number to demonstrate or to talk about what I want to explain next. Let's turn it off. It's going to be coming right back. Actually, we should do the same thing in the left hand to demonstrate the left hand. Hey, thanks for the comments. I'm going to read those comments in 1 second. But we got a guy in here who knows a fair amount about these things tonight. That's a real treat. So we zero it out. I'm going to give it 75% squeeze in my left hand. Through the stream, I'll be going harder and harder, and we'll see where it measures up at. But I also have to organize all these crazy things. Like the comment says, here's the pin. If you're new here and you subscribe, I'll hold up grippers. You can choose which one I do, or you can choose which number I hit here. But I'll show those grippers more in a second. So let's try a left-handed one. Again, about 75%. I'm pushing on this part of the device just to get it into my hand. So it locks in place. I'll wrap my fingers around. But then I'm going to take it off for the squeeze. So I lied to you. That was about 85%, 90. You just can't help it. When it's in the hand, you got to squeeze. But here's what I can't figure out. I'll demonstrate this. So supposedly, my left hand can squeeze with 150 pounds of pressure. Look at that handle position. But if I grab one of my hand grippers over here, I'll grab even here's one. This one isn't even that hard. It's a beautiful one. I love that it's the color red. This one has been measured by Cannon Powerworks, a local company here in Minnesota. I know the owner. He's awesome. And they said it's 111 pounds of pressure to touch these handles. I think, and I am extremely open to Terrence or anybody else's opinion, I think what makes it so hard, though, to use a hand gripper is that look at how wide it is at the bottom. My hand doesn't naturally fit it very well. And what we saw a second ago with that device is the handles are about this far apart. It's real easy to get in there and squeeze. In fact, my left hand measured 160. So what I should be able to do, you would think, with a gripper that has strength of 111, I hope that's showing up. On my end, it's looking pretty cool. I hope you're seeing the 111. And look at that knurling. The knurling bites into the hand. It's actually pretty sharp, but watch what happens. I'm going to put it in my hand, and it's a spoiler alert. We already trained grip today. I may or may not shut this, and then I'm going to pick up that machine, turn it on real quick. I'm going to give you another pull. Look at the difference. So here we go. This one takes 111 pounds of pressure to close. Boom, 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 boom. Not closed, right? A gripper only counts as closed, and I'm being serious when I say this, if those handles touch. Not, yes. Now they're touching. So I wasn't closing that 111. Let's pop on our favorite new toy, and we'll demonstrate again. See, those handles are much closer, significantly closer than they were on that gripper. I can, by screwing this, make it wider or narrower. So I'll go a little wider. But look what happens. I guarantee that this will go over 111. If this doesn't go over 111, I'll just turn off the stream right now. But that's what's so crazy. So I'll hit it, right? So we'll zero it out. It's going to jump a little bit as I get my fingers on it. Watch this number that comes up. So explain that to me. And I'm serious. If people have an idea, please let me know your thoughts. This one came in at 175 pounds of pressure. A pretty good squeeze for my left. We're going to demonstrate the same thing with the right. Except this time, for fun, we're going to put these handles just a little closer. So twist it. Now watch what happens in my right hand. This won't be an all-out pull, but this will be a pretty good one. I'm guessing it'll be in that 190 range maybe. Here we go. So again, it's knurled here. I should re-chock, I'm not. I'm using this left hand to push the device in there, wrap my fingers, then watch the numbers jump. So we got, okay, the right hand had a pretty good showing, 200.8 pounds of pressure. Turn this off. We're going to throw it on in one more second. But what's crazy is we just saw that. We were all on the same stream, right? 208 pounds of pressure. This gripper here is 102. Whoop, is 102. I should be able to hammer this thing shut. Now, granted, it's a little wider, so I'm going to use my left hand. I'm going to pull this down so that my right hand can get around it, and I'll give it a squeeze. But even then, I don't think that I'm going to slam this thing convincingly shut. What I'll do is, so I'll do that. I'll step back, I'll hold it out, and I'll try to bring it to the camera. And you guys tell me if it's closed or not. It's hard sometimes for me to see if the little handles are actually touching. So I think it's closed. I actually think I heard a little click. So let me know. Yeah, man, they're pretty cool. Oh, yeah, you're new to this stuff? That's super awesome that you're here, dude. I appreciate you being here. I think grippers, hand grippers, and hand strength. Hey, listen to this. This is a true story. So I mentioned I compete in grip competitions, which is true. I'm hosting the North American Championships in Minnesota next year. I rented out the Mall of America. I don't know where people are from. I'm St. Paul, Minnesota. Maybe there's other people from Minnesota on here. Maybe. And if you have the ability to get here, you should come June 14th to Minnesota, and you should watch this grip contest that we're going to have. I don't have an amazing grip. I've got a pretty good grip. It's something I really, really work at, and I'd like it to be even better. I think it can get better. But some of these animals that are coming, the things they can do, truly incredible. Now let's warm up. We're going to do one more quick pull. Hey, where are people from, if you don't mind? I love that people are on here watching this. 125 pounds of pressure. Quick one in the right. I'm St. Paul, Minnesota. Terrence, where are you from? Oh, and by the way, I should say this. Ground rule for the stream. Nobody ever has to chat. Nobody has to communicate if they don't want to, if they're not comfortable. But if you do, I'm super curious where people are from and what they're thinking. Set this here. So the problem that's ahead of us tonight is we have all these hand grippers. We have to close some of them, no doubt. We just shut this in the right hand pretty well. Any new subscriber, if you're new here, give a shout, let us know you're here, and I will pick one of my hand grippers specifically and close it. You tell me a number between 50 and 150 if you subscribe, and I'll close that gripper or attempt it. Hopefully it's not too hard or it might pop my hand, but this is the real way to do grippers. And I love that we got a new guy on here. So this is the hand gripper. This is a GHP. It's really cool. It's only the level 2. That's not very hard. And the manufacturer put lines. See those lines? Those are where your fingers go. Like that. This side has one line. That's how you know the side for your thumb. This handle, believe it or not, is actually thicker. It's thicker than this handle. So that's so you get a little bit more surface area, a little bit more bite. Now watch what I'm going to do. Because my hand doesn't naturally fit on it, I'm going to use my right hand. I'm going to slide this handle in like this. Then I'm going to make sure that the handles are far enough apart where I can pass this credit card through. This is the Iron Mine certification. See? Iron Mine, Captain of Crush. Can you do it on the 2? Can you do it on the 4? Almost no one can do the 4. Carl Meyerskopf did somewhat recently. That was cool. So watch. This gripper, by the way, for those keeping track at home, rates at a 60-pounder. That's a legit hit. Well, if you're new to the stream and you can credit card it, that's not too bad. So look it, I'm seriously too narrow, right? That wouldn't be much of a close. So I have to widen it so this passes through. Because I have some control, I'm going to let it go a little longer in the fingers. I'm going to let it slip in the palm, a little longer in the fingers. The second it fits through, I'm going to shut it. And chat, I'm assuming we all agree that's shut. I'm open to thoughts. If somebody said, hey, you didn't get that, that's fine. I don't mind it. Eric got called away. I got called away. Being a dad is being a dad first. So I actually had to shut it down shortly after you left, and I'm just hopping back on. Eric, buddy, so Eric knows a lot about it. We're going over grippers. I got some requests to make a gripper video. The problem I have is this is about a third of my grippers on the table, and what I'm trying to figure out, what is the best way to organize a gripper collection for a video? Do you do it by brand? Do you do it by, I can't do it by color, they're almost all silver. So let's try the right hand now. We'll try this 88. We're seeing what we have left in the tank. Are you back from basketball already, Eric? 88. I kind of think I should do it by these tags. I think that's what I'll end up doing. We're using the credit card style, the credit card method. The way I like to place my hand gripper, and it works out well that I've got the calluses. You see those calluses? Those lovely earned calluses, because they are lovely and they were earned. I slide the gripper right behind them. I make sure that this handle, see that? Actually, oh God, I actually have a line there. That's debatable if that's cool. It goes right down the middle of my finger. Left side has it too a little bit. You want the gripper handle to be even with that line. You want, when you're closing it, you're hoping that about half of your finger is on the gripper and the other half isn't. Why is that? You're getting more leverage. So let's shut this 88 in the right hand, this pretty red gripper. Crap, that already feels harder than it should have. Pinky is on there too much. That wasn't the best set. We have to make sure this credit card fits through. So give it more space in the palm. Thank you. Give it more space in the fingers. Got it. More in the palm. Got to pass this thing through. Now, shut it. And those handles touch. Can somebody in the chat, if you don't mind, can somebody let me know, did those handles actually touch? Did somebody touch? Oh yeah, 7, 830. That credit card, again, I'll do it on a super easy gripper. Yeah, man, I like the thumbs up, thank you. Where are people from, by the way? Eric's from Wisconsin. I'm Jeff Peterson. I'm from St. Paul. Where are other people from? Super curious. Actually, I like that chrome spring. Really reflects the light. But you got to do this for it to count. This spring, if you can hear it, listen, is hurting. It needs to be squirted with a bunch of oil so that it doesn't continue to get worse. The one thing we saw earlier, which still blows my mind, and we talk about this, we've had this toy for 1 week. My grip has gotten fantastically better in the last couple weeks, last couple months. We measured it on the stream earlier, but what I'm trying to figure out, doing a little bit more testing, is why can I, here's a soft pull. This isn't a super hard one, right? So those are the handles. Squeeze it like that. It's a different way to test your crushing strength. We'll zero it out. Why can I, and here's like an 80-85% pull. 155. How can I get a 155 on this? I still like how that looks. That's cool. I guess I wish the screen had a little bit more contrast. I think it's got an okay contrast. Do the left one. But we're finding out, and maybe this isn't a surprise, that we can squeeze on this and get certain numbers. My left hand just squeezed with 149.2 pounds of pressure. I will show you something. I don't know if it's going to be embarrassing, but it's going to demonstrate something very clearly. Why don't I grab a gripper that is around 149 pounds of pressure and watch this total S show? Here's one. Here's one that's 150. This gripper takes 150 pounds of pressure to touch those handles together. It's a lot, right? That machine claims that in my right hand I can definitely do that. Now the machine allows me, that cool grip tester allows me to start with the handle super close. Watch how hard I fight this thing and watch how far away I still am, because I'm not going to be close at all. In fact, you're going to see a battle royale just to try to get my fingers on it on the other side. So let me take a couple breaths. Ah! Come on. Got to at least show you guys something. And actually, that's a good pull. I'm super pumped about that. There's no way I thought I would be that close. So I couldn't hit the 150 on that. Hey, I love that comment in the chat, dude. I'll answer you in 1 second. A lot of information on that. So let's see in the right hand. Can my right hand, and I think it can, put up way more than 150 right now? Now I'm actually going to give it a full hard squeeze. After the grip training today and jumping right, calm down, Jeff. Jumping right into this. This is the best number I can put up. Let's see what we get. So that's definitely down from my peak strength, but still pretty good. We'll demonstrate the same thing in the left. So watch this in the left. We'll do a quick pull. I didn't forget about the comment. I'm going to get back to you. Zero it. Jesus, 156. Do you know what a nightmare that's going to be to have to try that in the left hand? All right, well, let's throw some chalk on. Chalk is super, so when you're doing hand grippers, chalk is super important. That spring, this is going to sound strange, but I mean it when I say it. This spring is like a living implement. It's the one thing in grip when we squeeze it and it pushes back. Everything else is static. So when you're starting to get it partially closed, like, all right, it's partially closed now, right? Right now, that spring only knows how to do one thing, to push back, push back. So it wants to push those handles, and part of what's helping it stay there, yes, is the grip strength, but that chalk is preventing it, see that, from jumping right out. Somebody asked an amazing question, at least I think it is. Joust, when did you last get your hand scale calibrated? So, this I've owned for 1 week. It's the GD, it's the GD Dyno 200. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to guess it's hand dynamometer as it's right next to it. I'm hoping that it's still calibrated pretty accurately as I've had it less than a week. If you look up the different kinds they have, because there are other kinds that you put in your hand and you squeeze really hard. Certainly have more. But this one came in as the most consistently, the most precise that you could rely on. And that's good. So I mentioned earlier we're hosting a massive grip contest, the North American Championships at the Mall of America. And one of the things we're going to do, I hope more people start caring about grip strength and training the grip. So we're going to have a grip booth there. Part of the reason that we're having that grip booth there is to try to convert people. And what's the best way to convert people? To get people to try some of these cool implements. Doing some live pulls on this. 129, 130. Now I'll try the left hand. The left hand, well, to be clear, we just did the left hand, but watch this. Although we just pulled that number, which we can live with, we go to grab this gripper, and this is a true beauty. For those of you that know a lot about grip or grippers, this is the SM, the Supermaster. It's an old vintage. You can tell by, for collectors anyways, see that bevel? See how wide it is? See how tall it is? And the knurling is very fine. It doesn't have much bite to it. We're still using some of these set pins. So all those things tell me that this is a very old hand gripper. It's going to be dang near impossible for my left hand to close this, even though it's 20 some pounds easier than my best pull on the strength tester. Why? Because I have to try to get it in that amazing position. I'll give it a go. So what we're testing is how close can I get to shut this, knowing that this one comes in at 125. And then as soon as I do that, I'm going to jump right back on my mechanical scale and then see what I get there. And my hunch is I won't be that close on this one. And I'll still put up a number, even after that little bit of fatigue, the extra oomph I'm putting in. I'm guessing that I'm still going to get a bigger number on that. So let's see how it plays out, huh? Come on now, come on. I know I didn't close it, but was I a width of a finger away? Maybe the width of a finger? What do people think? Super curious. Hey, blow up the chat if you want to the comments. Do people like this kind of stuff? Are people into hand strength? I'm super curious if anybody's ever tried one of these, by the way. Super curious. I wish you were all here. We'd line up. We could just take turns trying it because I have that much fun with it. I brought it to the gym the other day. And you got to imagine gym culture, right? The bros were lining up. And it was so funny because some of them put up really good numbers. But then, like the most cocky guy who thought he was basically going to shatter this, he tries it and a very poor number, notably. We had 1,700 people in here in the last 20 minutes. I'm guessing most of you would put up bigger numbers. So he storms off. Boom, boom, boom. Comes back like 5 minutes later. He's like, hey, can I try that again? He did a little better, but I mean, he doesn't have a great grip. Nothing wrong with that. So we got 163, and that's the head F. If there is a head F to be had, it's that a moment ago we were playing, we couldn't even get this 125, and then the left hand easily put up way more than that. So I'm going to do a certification close in my right hand now. I'm still trying to figure out, hey, does anybody have an opinion? If any of the regulars are on, let me know. So we've got this. We've got the big pile of grippers over there. We've got some in that window well. We've got some on that. We've got a lot more in drawers in the bedroom. I need to organize these for the video tomorrow, and I'm just trying to figure out, should I do it by manufacturer? Do I do it by strength? What makes the most sense? And I'm being serious. I'm really not sure what to do. So let's do this. We did one that was 88 pounds of pressure earlier on the stream. We did the official Iron Mind credit card close. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to look for a hand gripper that I have that's a little harder than 88. I don't want to make a massive jump. I don't think, in my opinion, 10 pounds. Boy, I wish I had something. No, we'll do this one. I think I can still get this tonight. So what you're going to see is I'm going to put the gripper in my hand. I'm going to use my offhand. And I'm going to squeeze really hard to get this gripper handle way closer here so I can get my fingers around it. But then I'm going to have to find a way to pass this through between the handles this way. This is a regular credit card. You have these in your wallet right now, probably. And I need to show that I can pass this through there before I close it to demonstrate a certain amount of width on the close. So let's go. There's no guarantee this happens. Bring it in. Wrap those fingers. Okay, I love it. Now look, it obviously not fitting. So let me slide it in the heel. Let me slide it in the length of the fingers. Heel fingers, heel fingers. As soon as it passes, we're going for it. Oh! Closed! Chat, did those handles touch? Did they actually touch? It was close. I told you before I did it. Oh, we already hit grip today. Now we're just messing around. These are teachable moments. Did that actually touch? I think it did. I'm super curious. So, like we've done the other times, as soon as we do that, fire up the GD, Dyno 200. Make sure that we're still pulling a respectable number. Push that back into my palm. Boom, 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 boom. Mid 160s. Mid 160s is down. That's down a bit from our peak. We're going to do a credit card set in our left hand. Then we're going to come right back and test. We're trying to figure out a couple different things, right? So the left hand. Let's find a nice user-friendly gripper for that one. The left hand, as we said, it's not as strong as the right. Now I've got a pile, just a mountain of grippers, but I want to pull some of the grippers from back here because the ones over here are a little lighter. And I've got the perfect gripper. I'm going to bring this 64 on over, and I'm going to bring the 78 on over. That's what I'm going to do. So let's try this one. The 64 in the left hand, and we'll do another max test. We've got our credit card. We've got our left hand. And again, how do we set it? This is our callus line. We earned those. A lot of grip work went into get those. Hey, I'm Jeff Peter from St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm super curious. Love the lurkers. You never feel like you have to say something. But if you don't mind, curious where people are from, toss it out in the comments. So it's going to be right behind the calluses. And I want this handle, I actually want it to be even with this finger. Because if I do that, when I go to close it, this pinky is going to be halfway on this handle. And my leverage is going to be much better when I go to close it. So that's the game I'm trying to play. Let's check it out. Boom, boom, boom. Squeeze it down. Left hand. Let's say left hand. All right, got it. So see that? See how the pinky's halfway on? Beautiful. But now we have to fit this freaking card through here. The reason why we do this is to make sure we're closing it a certain minimum distance for contests and certification purposes. Got it. So the left hand, obviously, the 64 wasn't a problem. Let's go straight to our machine. We're going to figure out how strong we actually are tonight, one way or another. All right. Just going to do a 3-finger pull. Just going to do these 3 fingers. The pinky, I better show it quick. So what's interesting about a gripper, you see the angle of the hand? Really, the fingers that are doing the most, because again, your leverage is better away from the fulcrum point. So the pinky's doing a lot of the work. Then this one. This poor pointer finger's not really doing much. So I'm going to do a pull without my pinky, because I'm curious how strong it is. Then I'm going to do one on the machine with my pinky. We're kind of trying to do some science. We've only had this for about a week. All right, there we go. We're zeroed. 3 fingers. So, pinky less. We got 130. God dang it. Let me do that right-handed too. Let me do it. I'm actually really happy with that. So the pinky was out of, it was still attached to my hand. It just wasn't squeezing. So that's the width we're playing with tonight. See the nice knurling? It's good knurling. Now this one I can't figure out. This one is like smooth. There's like lines, not knurling. That's our scale. Pinkyless, pinkyless, pinkyless. Oh, weird. No, I gotta try that again. How can I gotta find a way to get my pinky out of there. I have an injury, so this pinky I have a lot less control over than my left one. So the left one was easy. We just went like this. Oh, maybe I could do that. I'll put the pinky on this thing. So left again. All right, let's try the right. See if that works on the right hand. It should work great. Yep, that'll work. 146. Take a breath. We had 133 in the left hand, 146 right. Man, I'm loving this, by the way. Are other people into this stuff? This is so freaking fun for me. Let's try it with the pinky. Can we get more? Who thinks we'll get more than 133 left hand with the pinky? Who thinks we'll get more than that 142 or so with the pinky in the right hand? My gut is yes. I'm just wondering how much more. So let's check it out. Jesus. So the pinky added, what's 168 minus 133? 35? That's cool. Let's try it in the right hand. We need to measure it against 142. Maybe added 47. Those are pretty big differences. Those are not small ones. This is hey man, how's it going? Yeah man, I like this stuff just fine. What I need is, and obviously in a perfect world that none of us live in, I need more people here to try this to actively try this with me. What we're finding is, so look, I just got 189 on this. Tells me I'm squeezing with 189s of pressure. I think we know it. By the way, a guy that just entered, he actually knows a fair amount. This is so we'll turn that off. But what we were showing is, we'll throw a little chalk on it. Oh no! Chalk shattered everywhere. Well, that'll be a vacuum. Yeah, that's gonna. So that's nice. That's neat. Although I'll say this, I've never broken a chalk that way. Usually breaks in half, not this way though. Looks like a loaf of bread or a relief map, right? A map that shows the different elevations. Oh, I love that. So essentially what is super strange to me, although I think I know why, is all right, this hand's pulling in like the upper, whatever we have, 100s. But even take this, just a 135. It's actually number 3. So it's a this is an easy number 3. But I know for a fact, even though my dynamometer says I can squeeze at a certain level, there's a 0% chance that I'm shutting this in my right hand. Let's see at least how close we can get. I'm interested in seeing how close we can get. Oh, that's not close. Anybody who knows grip stuff knows I got spanked. Yeah, it does look like tasty chalk, doesn't it? I got spanked. So we're figuring out some of that fun science stuff. The other thing we're trying to do, we got some cool requests. People wondering if we can do a gripper video showing the whole collection. This is, you might be the guy to ask. How do we do that? Do I organize them by strength? Am I organizing them by brand? Do you have any thoughts or opinions on the matter? My gut says go by strength. So I think that's what I'll do. We've got a fair amount of them. We're not done, by the way. For the new people that come in here, if you're new to the channel, great. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you do, you can pick a strength and I will shut it on the stream. You just have to pick a number. That's between 50 and let's say 130. And then I'll find a gripper that correlates with that. So I like that here. Like out of all of them, go by strength or weight level. Well, that's what I'm wondering. So like this one's not rated. I rated it on my machine. I know it's like 32. So this would maybe be the first one in the collection. And then hold that thought. Let me bring over a super challenging gripper, a pointless gripper. I know I have some here's some pointless ones. These are pointless. I'm not going to do anything with this, and yet I own it. This one is a world class. It's like 270 pounds at strength. This one is 242. I'm not shutting that. Almost basically nobody's shutting that. So I think what I'll do, I'll start with the crazies down here, which would be some of these, those Hards GHPs. I've got another world class. This world class comes in. Do you see what I'm saying about how to organize them or what the best way is? Again, super open to it. We can do manufacturer. We can do it within that. So you could have like all the iron mines, all the GHP, all the teddings. But I'm inclined to, and I'm going to squeeze that. Oh, I forgot. 275. We're still trying to see what I can close credit card set. So we do a fair amount of grip work on this grip channel here. And I need to get back at it. The last one we closed in our right hand with the credit card was the 98. So let me grab a gripper that's harder than the 98 and I'll do a credit card close. Shins. Oh, Shims. Hey, thanks for taking the time to message and check. I will answer as honestly as I can. I'm guessing, and we have a stack off to the right. We've got a stack or two off to the left and a bunch in another room. You don't really need this. I'm stating the obvious. Nobody really needs this many grippers. One valuable thing, if you have maybe like 15 or 20, is look at this is a hand gripper. No matter who's in the chat right now. Like Shims, I don't know you obviously, but I know one thing about you. You could close this. So this is maybe nice for a warm-up. Because most of them, almost all of my collection have these numbers, I know how hard they are. I know the strength of each one. I can build a ladder. The easiest ones that I have actually measured are about 53, and they go up to 275. So by building a collection that has like 53, 59, 63, 65, here, I'll do a quick pan shot. I'll do a pan shot to explain what I'm telling them, and then I'm going to hit this gripper close. I actually think I'll get this gripper close, even though we've done a lot today. So when you walk through here, like look at this table, for example. These are some of my Iron Mine number 3s. And if you look at the tags, we've got some in the 140s. We've got some in the 130s. We've got more in the 140s. So the idea is, hey, if I can close this one, which is a 125, and it is, and then I own this one, and it's a 152, well, that's a hell of a gap. It's going to be really hard to train there. But what if I had one that came in, and I do, at 135? This is the 2.5. So I've got a couple 135s, and one of them, the 3 ones, a 2.5. That would allow me to train my grip with a gripper that's a little harder than one I can already close. Now, the real answer to having all these, it's insanity. There's no good reason to have this amount. But if you're a collector, maybe some people collect certain things. They always taught us in German class how to say, I collect stamps. Ich sammle Briefmarken. I don't think many people collect stamps, if I'm being honest. But I collect grippers. I'm guessing there's somebody on here who has a random thing they collect that they don't really want to admit. We're going to make the jump to this. So even though I have a lot of grippers, I think around 150, and I've got some crazy, crazy ones in that bag there you won't believe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to credit card set this one. We just did the 98. This is the 102. A 4-pound gap in this collection is a massive gap. I'm going to try to make the jump from 98 straight to the 102. Yeah, Schmitz, I think it's interesting. I'll open this bag in a second. There's a manufacturer who made basically child ones. They're so freaking cool and addicting, if I don't mind saying so myself. So let's get after it. We did a lot of grip work earlier. Then we had to play dad. For those of you who are on the stream, my daughter came down. Dude, what we usually do is we have my whiteboard and we put riddles on it or jokes. And while I'm training, we see if anybody's smart. Yes, people seem to be smarter than me. Even though I think I'm kind of clever, she came down, she erased them all, she made lines on it for 5 minutes, she cried, we shut it down. So it's a little extra bonus. Let's try to shut this in the right hand. You know what, but let's do this. I'll just say a quick riddle. I don't know if anybody will get this, but open your ears if you're interested. If not, I guess fingers and ears. Here's one submitted by a subscriber. What goes up, never down? What is something that goes up, never down? 50-50 shot, I get this. That 4-pound jump in pounds of pressure is pretty big. But after I try this, I'm going to squeeze my strength tester again, see what we get. So here we go. I'm going to crush it down to get my fingers around it. Good job. Now we have to pass this credit card through. God dang, this feels way harder than that last gripper I got. I may not get this one. Chat, tell me, was that closed? It did not feel closed to me. I know what a closed gripper feels like. That it didn't. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Dude, thanks for all these. Like, this is cool show off. We should do separate videos. Oh, what do you think of that? He had a gripper every level weight. He did? That guy had that many grippers? That's nuts, dude. No way. Yeah, thanks, man. You collect pins, rocks, Pokemon cards? Oh, I collect, if you look back here, I don't have the key for this. I'm 44 now, but when I was like 13 or 14, I collected coins and Bo Jackson and all those sports athlete cards. So they're in my safe. My grandma bought me that safe. She was kind of like, well, if he's going to collect them, he better protect them. And I don't know how to get into it now. I have no clue on how to get into that now. I think it's cool you collect pins. What type of pins, though? Like if you go to a ski resort, do you buy a pin and put it on your jacket? Like, maybe it's not safety pins. So we just failed squeezing that gripper of 102 pounds of pressure. But I tell you one thing, we're going to get more than 102. See how close these handles are? We're just finishing it off. So here's an 80% squeeze that will get us more than 102 pounds of pressure. Bink! There was more in the tank. Left hand, though, and our left hand's actually kind of the dude tonight. Is just getting a lot of work done. North, I'm so glad you're here, man. Yeah, I didn't think it was close. Wait, you have 500 or 600 enamel pins? Hey, I'm with this is what exactly do you mean enamel? So our left hand. The last one we did was the 64. We actually thought that was pretty easy. So why don't we do it up in class? Let's go up in class. Fair enough. Should we do a 78? Same thing though. We're going to put it in our hand. We got to pass this card through to make sure we're getting minimum close. I love the company Iron Mind. I've been done business with them since I was, well, I suppose 19 was my first strongman contest when I found out about these. And they say if you want to be certified on any gripper, you have to do it like this. You can slam it in your hand to wrap your fingers around it. If you have a smaller hand, that's fine. But at some point, you're going to have to do this. Open it wide enough so it can come in. Hey, gang, watch this close. Let me know if it's closed or not. I know I didn't get the 102 on the right, but I bet I get this one left. Right. So my arm is strongest when it's straightened out. So when I do that, I often have a straight arm, which means I'm far away from the camera. I can't see anything, but that felt like a closed gripper to me. I want to break down something about my training in 1 second, by the way, in case some people are confused. And here's just, again, not a super hard pull, 126. Very good. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a complete gripper video. I'm going to shoot it tomorrow and post it. But then I'm going to break out like my teddings, the beef builders. I'll do the GHPs and things like that. And here's the question. Remember, I asked a riddle. Our riddle board was terrorized by my daughter. I had such a cool riddle on there. Let me start with an easy one and see if anybody can get this one. This was submitted by a subscriber. What goes up but never down? What goes up but never down? We've got a group of people in here. With this amount of people in here, somebody should know that. I'm guessing somebody knows that. Oh, hell yeah. What is going... Uncle Reggie! Uncle Reggie, yes! Uncle Reggie, you made it. Very cool, dude. Somebody else got it, too. Oh, North, that's what you meant. That's what you meant. Yeah, Darren H., your age. Okay, you guys are good. I see what you mean by North. I'm sorry I didn't see that. I suppose that works, too. So here's the one. Here's the riddle that was new for tonight. That was on the board, the riddle board, before my daughter came down. Man, I'm sorry I didn't see it's North. So for those people that sound like you know something, check it out. I live if you feed me. I die if you give me something to drink. What could that be? Interesting that Uncle Reggie is here. I still don't know whether to call him Uncle or call him Reggie. He had a specific question, so I will... Is this what you were talking about earlier? I'm organizing all my grippers. This one comes in at 143 pounds of pressure. Is actually kind of fun gripper to have because the average number 3, I'll show you what the average number 3 is. Here you go. I love numbers. I love charts. So the Iron Mind collection, what a lot of people are familiar with. The average number 3. This is, Cannon Powerworks. My buddy owns this company, Matt Cannon. They do everything grippers. And I don't mean some stuff. I mean everything. And the stuff they're working on developing now, when they release it's going to be mind-altering. If you love grippers. So the average strength of the Iron Mind 3 is 149. But if you open one out of the box, you're most likely to get to 150, the mode, the number that shows up the most. So having a 143 is a nice stepping stool. Some of my grippers, I'm organizing, and take 2. I'm organizing them tonight. I'm going to make my video tomorrow. Of the 150, 160 I have, there'll be 10 or 11 I'm moving on from. Why is that? I think I have 6. I think I have 6 Grandmasters. I just don't need 6 Grandmasters. I mean, I do because I love them, but I don't actually need them. What am I going to do with that money? Now I'm I'm buying other grip tools. Inch dumbbell trainers. Those are expensive. I know for a fact I'm selling this one, although most people probably can't. You know, to fill out a collection, having the E, the Elite is smart, the Thor, 178 pounds of pressure, but, you know, very few people can squeeze that. So here's what we're going to do. It's been a couple minutes. Let's try this. I had some good pulls earlier. We did a lot of work on the channel earlier. Then the daughter rained on our parade, so we had to restart later tonight. I'm hoping I can still get in the 200s with a good squeeze. Most of the squeezes you've seen tonight have been the 80 to 90%. But let's go ahead and let's do 100%. I don't like when people say 105. Why? That's not a thing. We all know it. But let's see if I can get over 200. Oh, I'm shot. All right, we got it. So I'm pumped about that. But I could tell the grip is falling off right now. But there's other gripper brands, so I'm asking. So like Iron Mind, very reputable. Standard, Matt Cannon makes these. The reason why he came up with this, and if you look at his averages, he wanted to make grippers that filled in the gap between a lot of these strengths. So if you look at the average strength of the number 2, it's 104. What's that? We have that right there. So he came out with one. A lot of it is 106 or a 96 or 136. So people could stagger their gripper collection. A problem people have, whether in the gym or specifically with hand grippers. Reggie's fine? Yeah, that's probably a better way to say it. I think I have like 155 grippers. Hopefully I can sell some of these. I was just showing different brands. So tonight, I'm organizing them all, which I'll start doing now. I'm still going to give some squeezes. But these are a Grip Genie. Grip Genies are okay. I had some of those. GHP are classic. They made them for a very limited amount of time. They're expensive. So here's how you know you're dealing with, and I'll show it 2 different ways. Here's how you know you're dealing with the GHP. One, they tell you on there, this is actually a Generation 1 because each handle has this on it. Oh, there we go. That's much clearer. Generation 2, they have one of these, but the other one just has a sticker, and those stickers often says made in the USA. It still says this, but they peel off. One identifying factor. Second identifying factor. A GHP on one side will have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Although, and actually with Reggie here, with some of the other people who are in here, a lot of people know stuff about grip and hand grippers. It's just to clue in maybe the novice. I actually have a really sweet gripper I want to show in a second if I don't forget. Let's just say, hey, your fingers go here. And then this single side, is for the palm. Now, what most people don't know, allow me to demonstrate. Most people don't know this. The GHP is the only brand to have this unique feature. This is from my grip calibrating machine that I'm going to use on the channel tomorrow night. Again, seeing it alone doesn't really help the majesty of the machine, but a handle slides in here. Now it's nice and tight, agreed? Look what happens if I try to do this handle. It'll never fit. Single ring handle. is slightly, ever so slightly thicker than this handle. The reason being, Wade, a buddy of mine, Wade Gillingham, who made this from the Gillingham family, wanted this side to be a little thicker so it just got just a little bit more bite in your palm. Because a lot of us know if you've trained grippers, whether you're new, whether you've been doing it for a long time or too much time, maybe like me, is that no matter how much you chalk, eventually it wants to slip, right? The downfall of every max gripper attempt. You know you're feeling it, your warm-ups are great, you get it in there, and boom, it slides, and then you're just uber frustrated. So by having a little thicker handle, the chances of that happening are less. Now here's a really easy, it's basically cheating if you rely on this. He did a very, 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 very brief run of colored hand grippers, GHP 1 through 6. Almost, I mean, it sounds bad to say, but almost nobody has these colored ones. I don't have the number 1, which is annoying to me, super annoying. I mean, he didn't make hardly any of them. So in general, look at this. GHP, Matt Cannon, who sold a lot of these on his behalf, only sold 37 of these. That doesn't mean there weren't more of these made, but look at some of the other numbers, significantly more. So getting a GHP one is hard. But I call them the Christmas colors because I'm a nerd, because they're green and red, and I like all holidays. I think I like all holidays. And somehow them being different colors makes it way more fun to squeeze. The only company I know, so Grip Genie has colored ones. For example, the Grip Genie 5 is red. There's a pretty cool gripper line. They're a little different. Vatese out of Korea. The Korean Vatese, they have really cool, they actually call them the rainbow line. Oh, I'm sorry, I fell behind on these people. Yeah, 155 is pretty solid. Highly educated films. Why do you have so many? Having 16 versus 6. I'm glad you said that. I'm for sure going to address that. And Jensen just got here. Sick. So highly educated films. If you don't mind, if you're still here, I will demonstrate why. And I do understand what you're saying about it kind of being a waste. I'll demonstrate it with my right hand. Okay? So let's take this gripper. Soon as 105 pounds to close, to touch the handles, right? I'm going to attempt to do the iron mine shut with it closed. Now I just missed the 102, so the chances of me getting this, pretty slim. But I have to do this so I can then do something after to prove a point. And I love that question. And you are right. I have so many. I am at the pointless. I mean, you're right. I'm at the pointless level. So watch. Put it in our hand. I always got to use a credit card. It's legal. You could almost put it shut. You just have to open it wide enough to get the credit card to pass through. It's through, but I can't close it now. I'm too fatigued. And you say, okay, you couldn't get that. Kind of close, and that's the 105. The value of owning so many is I say, all right, what else do we have here? Well, here's a 98. A 98 is a very rare number 2, by the way. It's a sweet gripper. So that's only a 7-pound difference. When I say difference, pound difference, I mean the pound of pressure to touch these together. It's literally just 7 pounds. So it's not a very big difference. I grant anybody, that's definitely right. But think of your bench press. Have you ever maxed out at 135 maybe, or a curl, and you do it, you're at 90 pounds? Sometimes you can't make a 5-pound jump. But what if you had a 91-pounder, a 92-pound curl bar? So with this gripper, I'll set it 7 pounds lighter. Tell me if I close it. I'm so dang fatigued. I mean, I still think I got it. I think I got it. Reggie, I know you're new at this, but you know a lot about grippers. You know something about grippers now. Was that closed? Or was that closed? Shims? So the value is, because I can't get the 105, if I have things that are really close to it, hey, I got my 98. Great. Or maybe I can use my 102. What's that? The 102 is too easy? Great. I'll use my 104. What if the 105 is too easy? All right, I'll take up my 107. I like having, and again, I'm not saying this is for everybody, tiny little incremental jumps, because then it's a good way to see the progress as I go. And it's good for me mentally to keep winning the workout. I use that all the time. It's probably winning the workout. Hit the small gains as often as you can. They add up. point of comment, see this gripper? It's a number 2. I had Matt Cannon, he sells them, he files them. When you take a hand gripper, and this is a wonderful example. Matt says that when filing a hand gripper, and he has a special jig attachment that he sets on it and just takes it right down, he says you add 7 the strength of the gripper, it's 7% harder to close once it's been filed to this distance. So this one was exactly 100-pound number 2, which annoys me, by the way, because I don't have one that's rated 100 somehow, and I really would like to. I have a 4-pound gap between my 98 jumping up to my 102. So the nice thing about this is you're teaching your hand, and I talk about this a fair amount. If you like grippers, you found the right channel. In order to shut it, that would be normally shut if it wasn't filed. But now I have to get there way harder. That actually wasn't even shut. It's teaching your hand that there's that extra range of motion, and you better get good at closing that. It's super useful, because when you go back to your regular, God dang it, where's my demo gripper? I have a demo gripper. Oh, here it is. Here's my demo gripper. So when you do a regular gripper then, like this, bink, your hand is like, wait, it's not closed yet. I've been training file grippers for the last 2 months. Oh God, it's actually closed already? Your mind actually thinks that it has to go a little further because the new normal of a gripper close, right, the new normal of it, is past this regular point. This is just a guide, by the way. Let's look at Matt's chart again. Honestly, let's never stop looking at Matt's chart. I print these off for my friends, and they think it's cool, but they don't get it. Average strength is 27. This one is slightly harder. Whoa, one of them was only a 23. What a joke. I'm going to show the GHP children's set because it's very cool. They're very colorful grippers. And, there's a couple other things I want to say about it. Oh, I did close it. Great. Jensen, yes. You did? Nice, dude. That's sick, man. Wait, what was that term you just used for the close? I'll have to go back and think about what level gripper is impressive to close? Okay, so he's asking a good question. Shut. We often say a gripper, the most common word isn't closed, it's shut. So maybe that's what I said. Sometimes people say they pinned it. The term you use, all right, this is the gripper. Just a couple basic things. If you pick this gripper up, let's angle down. If you pick this, I'll get to the comments in a second. If you pick this gripper up and it never touches this hand, you just go like this. This is called a TNS, a table nose set. You just picked it up and went for the close. Sound good? If you pick it up and it's in your hand and you demonstrate, like, look, I can pass a credit card through before I close it. That is a credit card close. Moving right along. If you use this, these are hard to get, by the way. These are collectors. GHP made this. It's a set block. If you have this and you say, all right, we already did a table nose set. So a TNS, a table nose set. If you just use your hand like this, that's another way to do it. We did the credit card close. This one is 38 millimeters. You say, all right, let me show that it's at least this wide. Open, open, and shut. Boom. Then that's shut. And you would have done the GHP set block close. Now, the most common thing, and you act, so it's not a quiz, obviously, but you do act. Look, if you want to know stuff about grippers, you do actually have to know this next part. It's non-negotiable. This is the most common set block. This is the most common block used in competitions. It measures 30 millimeters this way. It measures 20 millimeters this way. I'm hosting the North American Grip Contest next year, and we are using max gripper close at 20 millimeters. Now you're seeing this year 4 or 5 others that are using it because they want their athletes to be ready from all their different states. So the way this one works, same thing. You can set it way deeper. The trick is you don't have to open up nearly as much. So for a 20 millimeter set, that would count. Well, obviously it doesn't count for a 30. You certainly can't do the GHP like that. Good luck shutting a credit card like that. There, now you can. That's why I keep this easy one around. I actually really like talking about these all the time. Here's another nerdy thing that I do, but this is useful. When you first start training, Reggie could probably speak to this. When you first start training your grippers, it's super addicting. You squeeze them all the time, squeeze them all the time, squeeze them all the time. It's awesome. It's the best feeling in the world. calm down. It's one of the best feelings in the world. But you're going to hit a lot of plateaus. The way you can avoid it is a few things. Have a variety of grippers, like I do. The other thing you can do is say, all right, here's a really common one we didn't talk about. Controversial close coming up. DS, the deep set. That's where you use your offhand, and as long as they're not touching, this would be considered a deep set. That's a very deep set, a pointless set. Most people, when they deep set, they just go to about parallel. So if you do a deep set and you do your reps like this, you don't call them closes. You don't call them shut. You call them clicks. Click, 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 click. That's a click. If anything below a parallel sometimes is called a click. Oh God, there's about 20 things I want to say and I only have one mouth. Well, I better pause for a second, get caught up on some of these other comments. But oh no, I want to finish this. So I actually, in my phone, I keep different. What did I deep set? What's my max on that? What's my max with the 20 millimeter? Those people who watch the 7-week series know what I can do on this now. And I keep track of what's my credit card set. To be honest, I'm not so interested. I have average hands at 7.5/8, even though I think the average is actually 7.5. I'm not that interested in seeing what I can pick up and just close. The GHP is the widest gripper on the market on average. So, I mean, look, it's mechanically in a horrible spot. It's super hard to get my fingers around it. So I'm just not interested in tracking that. I'm not saying it wouldn't be good for some people. So I hope that answers what you were saying. Okay, you just finished 5x12 with a 1.5. Good job, Jensen. Also, to fine tune and see where you're at. Yeah, that's exactly it. Why would you train hard with a 98 and then more likely then be able to... Why would you just train? I see what you're saying. Because a lot of people like to just own a lot of grippers and try training them a lot of different ways. Although what you're saying is a very valid comment. Yeah, I had a 100. I hadn't filed it. I figured I'd come across another one. I didn't. 5 pounds is huge, by the way. Any other number I'd like in your collection? 100 would be like the most basic. I agree. Most people can't shut the number 1. Oh, he's not most people. Uncle Reggie, I saw that Canon offers the bumper to help increase the increments, but the collector in me just wants more grippers. Well done. Well done, Reggie. What's the point of any of those types of closes where you can pass certain size through? I love that. 20 things I want to say. The point is, and we're gonna start opening these now. If you thought some of those other grippers were interesting, look at these. The point is, different contests require different things. For example, this is rarely, this isn't in a contest, but the company Iron Mind, who kind of started this with the co-owner of the Beef Builder brand, industrial strength hand grippers. If you're a male and you can shut the 3, the 3.5 or the 4 using a credit card set, so you put it in your hand and you say, you look at this, I can do it, everybody. And they're very picky. They are very, very picky. You have to do certain angles, certain times. And here's the messed up part. This is the most messed up part. And I don't want to sound like I'm a jerk, so please don't take it that way. I'm going to show you something that's going to be weird. Now, where are my weird grippers? Oh, yeah, that counts. But where's my really weird gripper? It's over here somewhere. It has the blue tag. We all know which one it is. I'll talk. If I don't find it, I'll just talk about it. It's just I would really love to show it. God, I may have lent it out, although that's not like me because that's an extremely rare gripper. This is a number 3. Historically, closing the number 3 was the biggest deal. You were a captain of crush. Good for you. It's 160 pounds. It's almost the widest gripper in my collection. This gripper gets extremely difficult immediately. There is no give at any point. I don't have any. Almost all other grippers get at least a little. I call it spongy at the beginning. This one is a brick all the way through. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So this is number 3 though, right? That's the point. 160. Although I can't find the other gripper that I really want to show you, even though I'm looking quickly again. We could still use, man, You ever own so many grippers? You wish you didn't own so many grippers? Well, I'll just use this one, even though it's really not the one I wanted to show. This is also a number 3. This is actually the one I certified on. This old school, double stamped, rare find at an extremely rare number. A 139 rating, impossible. Impossible. The one I wanted to show you is a 131 rating. Actually, out of the corner of my eye, I see it calling me. Yes, I knew I didn't lose it. This 130 shouldn't exist. It's impossible. Look at the horrible mount. Look at all the space. Look at that old school, late 1990s stamping. Could you just show the stamping? Late stamping, no COC. So you're going to tell me, with a straight face, Iron Mind, a company that I told you I love, because I do, that these two grippers are the same? Okay, well, this one's way wider. This one is 160 pounds of pressure to close. Never mind the tag on the back. This one's 131. That's almost 30 pounds of pressure difference. And the way you certify, you send them credible evidence that you can shut one. They say, we're going to mail you one for free. Open it up on camera. Use the credit card we send you on camera. Do it all so we know you didn't cheat. Well, you could, although rare, right? This is almost, there's one, I know of one that measured lighter than this in the history of grippers. One number 3, mind you, that was lighter than this. I only know of one number 3 that measured heavier than this one. So the guy that gets this, good to be him. Good to be him. How easy is this to certify? And then they just give you this pile of rocks. All right, here's your new pile of rocks. Show us you can close it. Yeah, good luck with that. I got this from Ben Helms. Ben Helms is a beast. Go to the grip board. The first thing you should do after subscribing to the channel is go to the grip board. We talk grippers there all the time, and contests, and more than that. Ben Helms of the grip board can table no set this. He said, oh, a gripper, cool. And he shut it. Animal. That should be felonious in all, well, pretty much all states. I need to do a gripper close to a credit card in the left hand. I just got the 78. That felt pretty good. So let me grab one of my 80s. And then after I do a pull on that, we're going to do another pull on this. Make sense? I'm glad. Oh, this is interesting. Let me show this. I've not shown this. How do you like this? So look at this. This is a number 1. Right? Agreed? This number 1 comes in at 79. That's a pretty average number 1. I've done no organizing. Looks like it's going to be a late night. Look at this. This is a 78. Ha! This is a 1.5. This is a harder gripper with an easier rating. I like when they overlap, and I like to get the oddity inside the level that it shouldn't be. Let's close this. Let's go for this. Couldn't have gotten far. Oh, we can do this one. How is this? This is a slap in the face. Some of you will get the joke. I'm gonna credit card shut on a beef builder. I'm gonna use a super advanced as a credit card demonstration. Well, I know 2 guys that hate that. Let's see if I can get it in the left. Does the left still have the juice? I think I'll be able to get this. It'll be dang close. You got to pass it through. It doesn't count if you sneak it through. It's the pass through. That's the term you use, pass through. I felt him touch, and then move away. We'll do a quick dynamometer. I'm really trying to use this a lot. One, Canon PowerWorks. He's a good buddy of mine. He makes good stuff. He helped me acquire this. So I'm just showing it as much as I can. 174. Well, what the heck, man? I still got some grip left. Keep in mind, we did other grip stuff earlier. This is really hard to show, so I'll only show it for a little bit. You see that? 55 pounds? See that hub? This is a Holly plate from Wales. He gave it to me for free because I'm going to use it at the grip contest. It's got an extremely shallow hub. May not look like it. There's only one guy who's ever hub lifted it. Hub lifting, another form of grip training. I absolutely suck at it, but it's fun. I saw that. I saw that Canon offers the bumper. Yeah. Very cool. I didn't know the world of grippers this deep. Found anything? This has been neat to know. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like talking grippers. There's a whole bunch more though. Food is ready. I'm gonna sit down. Yeah, Schmitz. Hey, sub the channel so you don't miss it. You were helpful. You had a lot of good stuff to say, and I appreciate that. Now look at these next one. Wait, his dinner's ready? It's 10 o'clock in Minnesota. Holy crap, I wonder where his... Let me open and show these. If you thought, where is just a regular Generation 1 GHP10? Generation 1s are hard to find. A GHP10 is very hard to find. Okay, pretty rare in the GHP line. And then you say, oh, well, what about this? Well, here's a GHP. Number 2. And it's a colored one? Oh, holy crap, that's hard to find. And it, honestly, it's pretty hard to find. But let's slide these over because I want to show you a really hard gripper to... no. Oh, that's just the 102 number 4. These are a dime a dozen. You can walk through my house. You'll trip on those in the hallway. We're not worried if those drop. I mean, full disclosure, we are because it's a gripper and we like grippers, but we're not going to cry about that one. Aaron. Oh, yeah. Nonia. Brownsville, Texas is in the chat. We all just got a little stronger. I'm doing this training because for me it's super fun. But moreover, I used to do a lot of strongman. I tore the Achilles twice. We've shown the scar on the channel before. Pretty cool. Got some back problems. Working through the back problems. Maybe I'll do strongman again. Maybe I won't. But grip contests are something I can still easily do. All right. Now, I need to remember one thing. This one goes first. Then this one. Green goes first. Gold is last. All right, watch this. So if you want to talk rare grippers, the rarest gripper maybe in the world I'll show in 1 second. And yes, I think I have it. It's at least one of, if not the. Look at this cutie pie. This is the GHP. So when GHP went out of business, they had a lot of stock left. And Canon, who did business for them already, he's like, well, I'll buy your stuff, but look at this. These are hard to find. It's a GHP. They call them the Junior Series. And if Canon was the one that put them together, then he put his CPW stamp on it. Now, it's not a hard gripper. It's not even, so this is the thumb bicep. This is what we use to train axle, hub, thick bar. Those of you who are doing King Kong this year, by the way, King Kong, we just got this. I love this tool. Sorry, that's my microplate. It fell over. This is the wrist wrench. It wraps that way. You attach the weight. So with all the weight wanting to unwind on this side, holy crap. Good luck being a thumb. Good luck being a thumb on the day of King Kong. That's not the point. The point is, sometimes I take pony clamps or my Titan telegraph machine and I do this to work my thumb bicep, right? Because grippers are awesome, but they don't do much for the thumb. This one, so I have a grip rating machine. We're using it tomorrow on the channel. Tomorrow we're doing back, and in between back, we're going to rate some grippers on the machine. Matt Cannon helped me calibrate mine a little bit. Mine were close to his ratings, but with his fine tuning, we got real close. This one comes in at 7 pounds of pressure. We were laughing hysterically, sort of, not all the way, saying, you know, this 64, that's not very hard. A 0.5 is not very hard. Yeah, well, what if you had one that was like 9 times easier? So, the green. The colored things are cool, pretty into that. I'm going to put away the wrist wrench. I don't want to put away the wrist wrench. Now let's take this one out. Super Bowl. So what is the Super Bowl? I host Super Bowl parties. What does the Super Bowl party look like this Sunday? There's a whole hell of a lot of this going on. I already know. How do I know that? Because my brothers are coming. Oof. We all did strongman. Now we all do grip. One of them climbs. One of them bodybuilds. The bodybuilder's on the channel sometimes. They all want to improve their numbers on this. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. And all the nieces and nephews, they know that Uncle Jeff has the GHP Junior set. So this one's not hard. This one comes in around 18. So this is, if you have a small gripper, it wouldn't, you could maybe do it with a guide, a demonstration gripper. It'd be pretty tough. This one comes into about 33. So for a guide, it's actually pretty stiff. For a guide, though, it's actually pretty narrow. So that's interesting that it can be a stiff gripper and yet be a narrow gripper. You usually don't see those overlap. This would be a little too hard. But again, by doing that, you're working your thumb. Sometimes, I don't use these very often because I don't want to break them. But this is a decent way, right? Getting that contraction on the thumb. I do know this. When I make the video tomorrow's a pretty light work day. Not for the employees, but for me, it's actually a pretty light day. We'll put the really hard ones all the way down there. And then our unrated, the GNC, GNC, General Nutrition Center, made grippers for a while. They're interesting, pros and cons. We'll put those. I have my bone crushers over there, the bone crushers. But your standard 3 or 4 brands, I'll co-mingle all those. Now, where I think you're going to find 1 or 2 things pretty interesting is here. Watch what happens. I have to do reminders. Okay, that's what I thought. Oh! Crud. I thought black was the hardest. Gold's the hardest. So, when you get into this gold, how about that? Are you serious? I didn't even think about this before. Look. There's not a more satisfying noise. And people who train grippers know this. When you put a gripper in your hand and you're like, when you go, bam, bam. That smacking of the handles where you're like, I don't even need to ask if it was closed. Not only did I feel the handle stop moving, and it shook my hand because I squeezed it so hard. When you get the visual cue, it's great. I'll do this briefly because it's not good. But the other show-off tip, if you get a lot of guys who've trained grippers for a while, they haven't seen each other for a while, like, hey, which gripper are you on? Which gripper are you on? Take a gripper that you can close pretty easily, and then do this nonchalantly. It's not good for your gripper, but it's kind of cool. You just go, oh, I'm shutting the made-up number, right? I'm just shutting the 2, and you go. What you're doing is you're showing you can hold it, but you're showing you can rub the handles together, right? The problem is you do wear off a little knurling, but you make that crackling noise. And people are like, whoa, he did that with a fill in the blank. This gripper is easier than this one. So this is the hardest one, GHP, made in the junior set, the gold. You know what, I might rate this one in the device tomorrow. I don't remember what this captured as a poundage. But it's just cool that the guide is actually easier than 1 or 2 of the junior series. So what are the biggest differences? Well, spring diameter. You know what I should do? I'm so bad at pronouncing it, a micrometer, a micrometer, something that measures very small distances. I should get that out and measure these tomorrow. Maybe I will. So you've got that. But what I like, so the wife has small hands. These are too easy for her. But I like the nieces and nephews because look at the width. The biggest thing that turns people off on grippers sometimes, and this one is a super narrow one. If you take this one, and look at, this is just an average GHP. You see the difference in width? Are you even serious right now? Is that even possible? It is possible. That people say, I'm squeezing, it's not closing. You know, they have small hands. A lot of people don't understand how to set it. Setting is the art of taking a gripper and putting it in your hand in the most mechanically advantageous position, which for almost all of us is the handle right behind the callus. I wish Cam Dennett was on here right now. He loves talking about this stuff. Cam actually says, I think it's him, he says set it a little on your calluses because as you're setting it, it'll slip into the position that you want to end it anyways. So you put it there and then getting it so your other fingers are on there. And since a lot of people don't know how to do that, they don't think grippers are fun. So because I'm trying to grow the concept of grip, I have this, thank you Matt Cannon, and you don't really need to set anything. You kind of grab and go. My sister, not at Super Bowl party, and her daughter won't be at Super Bowl party. They won't get to party with, we'll watch football. That's the main reason, and eat cool stuff is actually the bigger reason. You just put your hand on it. I'm discovering there's a little technique. So actually, I think I know a couple ways to kind of hack this a little bit. Not hack it. Find where it's best for your own hand. But then you just put your hand on it, squeeze it. There's not a lot of technique to it. And I think that's why a lot of people like it. But why I like this for my nieces and nephews, it's really easy for them to get their tiny little kids' hands on there, and it is. One of them still has to do like, how do I do that thing again? That thing, you mean a set? Well, you go like this. Put it where you want it. This should split the middle of this finger. You put your thumb behind it. Why? Why am I putting my thumb behind it? Well, you could do this. Use your thumb to block it, because when you reel this handle back towards the other one, the spring only knows how to do one thing, stay in this position. You're going to make some force, so it's like this. And the reason why we use our thumb down here is because if you don't, you're not really setting anything. You're just sliding it around your hand, which is super unattractive. And if it's a really hard gripper, let me find one actually. I'll throw some chalk on and demonstrate on something that kind of matters. Here, this isn't a very hard gripper, but this will prove our point. This is the average number one that showed earlier in the stream. It's making an appearance again. It's hard enough where when I go to set it, you create the pocket or a sleeve. So when you finally get it where you want it, bring this thumb over and take your other thumb. You put it down like this. That prevents this handle from slipping. Who wants a gripper to slip? Basically no one ever. With your offhand, you're going to reel it in. Now, the way I reel it in, I don't pinch it in. I can't get enough strength. I've got the marks and the callus here on my finger. Not translating. Cool. I go like this. I dig it in like that, and I push that son of a gun because I really want that thing where I want it when I want it. And by putting my thumbs here, it won't slide. See that? Over the top and pull and reel. Now it's where I want it. Now I can do whatever I want with it. Although my grip's tired, I probably can't do like everything I want. So trying to teach a little kid who's 9, who saw his 14-year-old sister. Yes! Well, it's been a couple days. I didn't think it was going to happen in the Iron Mind 1. That'll just be our secret. Crud, we lost it on the 1. That ain't great. Minnesota's super dry right now. I don't think the chalk's really helping. But yeah, you just teach a little kid, hey, little kid, thumb here, go like this. Wow, that feels really cool. I want to do one thing. I'll keep it really quick. I don't keep it out here, this gripper, because I don't want anybody to touch it. I don't want anybody to break it. I made Matt Cannon a promise that I would never squeeze this hand gripper. So give me 1 second. I'll return with it. I'll say something to the chat because I got a couple of people asking questions. I think you're going to like this gripper. Some of you may have seen it before. This will be all of a 13-second journey. So. All right. So this is an interesting hand gripper. They seem to... G3, you're making a very good point. I'm tempted to run back now that I just got here. These are designed for children, so yeah, they're super thin for my hand. If you take a tedding, this is a tedding. The teddings look a lot like standards, but they came first. Standard found that that's the best way to do it, and I think he's right. Iron Mind and some other companies, they glue at the top. So if you find, and I don't think I have any like this, not this one. If you find a really lazy Iron Mind, you'll see glue coming out the top with a set pin. Set pin, you'll never have that. These have an average thickness. Now, the GNC grippers, now I remember I got to fit these in here somehow. They're actually a little thinner handles. So when you go to close them, in some ways it's cool because, hey, you're having to make a tighter fist. You're training that extra range of motion. And when you go to the thicker handle, Iron Mind, they stop sooner. And you're like, wow. However, has anybody ever played with the Robert Barra bands, the RBs? They're out of Austria. He actually has, his handles are 2 millimeter thicker than these grippers. And I tell you what, this is true. When you're training with a gripper, and the knurling on his new grippers, it's too sharp for me, friends, and I like a good knurling. His are so thick, they're shutting already, and you're like, wait, my hand hasn't even participated in the final sweep. Another thing to pay attention to. If you're talking to somebody who knows a fair amount about grippers and they're stuck on a gripper, oftentimes what you'll say or what you'll hear is, hey, so where are you in the sweep? How is your sweep? The sweep is the motion that this handle makes, not the one in your hand, the off handle. As it comes in, it's the sweep. Most people struggle with the sweep when it gets here, is when it's hardest, right? So in an effort to work on our sweep, Sweep, we do filed holds, we do dime holds, we do negatives, we do filed grippers, if I didn't already say that. So yeah. Doot, 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 doot. This is the stuff we do on the channel. We're getting, admittedly, we're getting a little more in the woods. We were live earlier, and then we had to stop that to play dad, which was fine. But there we were doing a lot of thick bar. We actually hit some good numbers on the axle today. We did plate curls with that 55-pound beast, and we did some wrist curls. But if you're catching this now, what I was supposed to do, and I've not done it, so that's shame on me, I'm supposed to be organizing these. So I can shoot my video that I want to post tomorrow. But then we got talking shop. So let me post this. It says I've got like 11 or 12% battery life. That probably lasts a long time. This is what I think might be the world's most rare gripper. And I'll explain, if it's not, why it's one of them. Some of you, if you're regular on here, I show it, I feel like every 3 weeks or so. This will be in the collection video. It's not rare because it has 112 rating, although that's super rare. This is an old chrome spring. This is not like the oiled GR8 springs that most of these grippers, that's one, even they can still be that even if they don't have the color, right? This is an actual steel chrome spring. The handles, not a great way to, that probably doesn't, this is a heavy gripper because they're all made out of steel. The knurling is crazy and kind of crystallized, and some rust has sent in because back when they first started making them, they didn't know about coating them or using aluminum that had been anodized, I think is the term, maybe using it wrong. You'll find no marking on this, and you'll say, is it an iron mine? Kind of. Is it a beef building by Warren Tedding? Kind of. Is it something else? And the answer to that is 50%, 50%, and 50%. So when Iron Mine decided that they wanted to make hand grippers, they reached out to Warren Tedding. Warren Tedding, who, and doesn't even make sense. I actually live less than a mile from now. He's passed, but you can imagine when I found out he was nearby, he's the guy who invented industrial strength grippers. In the 60s, he was making things like this, and he'd sell them in like the Perry Raider magazine, something like that. I got to know him. I actually did contract jobs because I had a decent grip. I competed in strongman. I'd sell them at St. Thomas on the college campus. I'd sell them at strongman contests. Anyways, Randy says, hey, I want to start making these. I want to sell them. Iron Mind. He wanted he wanted to have essentially like the 2, 3, and the 4. But he didn't really know how to make them. He knew Warren was already making things like this. So what they decided to do at that point, what Randy wanted to do, is he wanted to take this handle and this leg. This is a leg. The different parts of the spring. This is the coil. This is the leg. The legs actually come down to about here. I don't think most people realize it. They're super long. But he wanted to weld it, spot weld here and here. And they were thinking about that, but what they came up with and thought is, hey, if we spot weld here, that's going to weaken the integrity of the spring overall, and there's no way we can sell a product like that. Then they were thinking maybe some kind of industrial adhesive, which is what they actually use now. They said, that's not going to work. So they reached out to somebody they had on their team, and they said, hey, how would you attach these? And that gentleman came up with the idea of this, set pins. Like we said, the leg travels all the way down here. You drill a hole in it, and you put the pin in. Now, you see all the misadventures? This width, I could show you with the micrometer, is the width that at the time they used for the number 2. What I'm saying, if I'm saying anything, is this is the prototype, the first ever Iron Mine gripper made by Warren Tedding, blocks from here, as it somehow turns out, that they would use and test and eventually say, hey, we like this. Let's use this spring, let's use this style, and let's make the first Iron Mine number 2s, which had the chrome spring and had very similar handles. Now, how did I get this? World of luck and an absurd amount of hunting. I was reading through old posts on the grip board, which I love. Matt Cannon owns and runs the grip board. Seems like we've mentioned his name a lot tonight. And a guy on there posted this. At the time, I had the first number 2 gripper I ever got, rated 113, which is like one of the hardest ratings ever. It was an old double stamp. I absolutely love it. And then I had one that was at the time like 104, And I knew that anything between a 112 and a 113 is like an impossible rating. There was a 120 measured at one point. Was it the Cyclops? They had a nickname, but it was so wide that it actually shattered. Also, Matt Cannon said it's only been closed once in the history, and it was to give it this rating. He doesn't recommend ever trying to close it. If you do, spring might blow. We won't be doing that today. Probably never do it. So in any event, that guy on the grip board, his dad was the third party that was consulted and said, don't weld it, do these, do the pins for the handles. And that guy, he got the prototype number 2 and the prototype number 3, and he handed it off to his son. I didn't know this at the time. I said, hey, that's an interesting looking number 2, and look at that rating. He's like, oh yeah, I'll sell it. Basically gave it away. I offered more. He's like, no, that's fine, I don't use it. He's keeping the number 3, he's going to give it to his son. But I'm lucky enough that I have this, the prototype number 2. As I understand it, I can't prove this, they did the 2, then the 3, then the 4 in that order. So this is what you're looking at. The Silver Crush prototype by Iron Mind and Warren Tedding is probably the first commercial prototype gripper ever made, at least for Iron Mind. So yeah, it's unfortunate because I have some other rare grippers. This one is the rarest. This one people have offered multiple thousands for. I wouldn't have paid that for it, but there's some collectors. I know a couple out east that, yeah, they really want to have what they want. And there's other rare grippers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there aren't other rare grippers. I just think you could make a case that this is maybe one of the hardest. So oh, it's not good for the heart. Sorry to hear that. Best thing for grip is, yeah, I agree with that. Overhand deadlifting is basically the best thing you can do for your grip. Hey, I'll say this. If you're enjoying what you're doing, talking about grip, talking about home hacks, history, different things like that, subscribe to the channel. This is the kind of stuff we do. Although, this is a little more detailed than normal, I will grant you that. A lot of what we're going to be talking about, always grip and some strongman, but we're going to start getting ready for the King Kong contest, and we're holding the North Americans 2026 North American GSI Championships in Minnesota next year. Day 1 is at the nicest gym I've ever seen. My buddy owns it, Los Campeones. Day 2, I rented out the Mall of America. They gave me passes for competitors, little kids, all these fun things. So if this stuff is interesting to you, and I think it is, I don't even think I've shown myself on here yet. I think it is. I'd say subscribe. We can hang out again. We go live every day. Usually like 2 to 4 on the weekends. On a weeknight, can be anywhere at 5 to 7, 5 to 8. But if you've got your subscriptions on or your notifications, you won't miss it. I'm going to recharge my phone. I'm going to start working this collection. I appreciate people taking the time. I know nobody had to come out and do this. I hope it was at least fun. Reggie, it was good to see you. This is Ackercon, some of you other guys. It was just good. Hey, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you guys soon. Appreciate it. Bye.